Oh, there we go. I think I'm live. Yep, we're live. Sorry, it was having a blip. Well, that's not a good start, is it? Hi, and welcome to my live. For those who don't know who I am, my name is Tina, and I am the LE UK Educator for Northamptonshire. I am going to be showing you JimmyGel today. I am going to, she'll be here in a moment. So I'm going to be doing a live model to show you how I apply the JimmyGel, but I'm also going to show you some colour blending. So not long ago, I did a reel for Ellie to show you how versatile the JimmyGel colours can be. In the collection, including the clear, there is 10 colours. But obviously the good thing is we can tailor this to our clients. We can tweak the colours so we don't have to use them directly out the bottle, because sometimes clients can be quite picky. We might not have the right shade of nude. I mean, I don't know how we can't. There's quite a good collection, but you know, we like to keep our clients happy, so we're going to mix, and I'm going to mix a couple that are quite popular with my clients. So I'm going to turn the camera around in a moment so you can see my desk. For any of you that don't know, there is an online code today if you want to buy anything. The code is PRO20, PRO20. So you will get 20% off today and tomorrow on anything that you would like to purchase. It's a good idea to stock up when there's a good deal on like that. Right, bear with me while I turn my camera around. I'm sure you don't want to see my face anymore. We want to see what we will be doing today. Let's get that zoomed in. So I have prepared a little swatch. I wanted this to look all lovely and have all labels, but my label maker decided to break on me, as you can see halfway through. But I just wanted to show you the only colour that is missing on this swatch is the white and the clear. Now, unfortunately, I ran out of white. Baby boomers, the French ombre, have been very, very popular the last couple of weeks, and I didn't realise that I've got dregs left in my bottle, so I won't be showing that one, but that is the only one that is missing. But I wanted you to see all the colours. I wanted you to see them, how they look before we start blending. Like I said, Ellie are really good. They've got plenty to choose from. As you can also see that there is also some sparkly ones in there, which is actually what I tend to mix. I find that sometimes people want a little bit of shimmer, but they don't want anything that's too... I mean, to be fair, it is still quite subtle, but again, we could make Sparkling Rose more subtle by mixing it with one of the cream finishes. And again, we can tailor it completely. You could ask them, you know, do you want a warm tone? You could use your Ideal Pink. Dusty Rose is going to give you something that's more of a cool tone. But it's nice and versatile. We can mix all the colours together. If you have any questions while you're going, I can see my comments. I believe Jojo is in the comments as well, so if I miss any or don't see any, she will probably answer them. But fortunately, like I said, I do have a live model, so hopefully, if any do get missed, she'll read them out for me. So my most popular colour, apart from Ideal Pink, Dusty Rose is one of my favourites, and I use that one and Ideal Pink the most. So I think I'm going to do a bit of a combo with those. On the reel that I did not so long ago, I used Diamond Dust and Ideal Pink. The reel is on the Ellie page if you'd like to see it. It was me just showing how, obviously, Diamond Dust, I don't know how well you can see that on here. It's quite pale. It's not white, but it's a very, very pale pink with like a blue iridescent shimmer in it. Again, it's very popular, but someone might want it slightly warmer. So in my video, I've shown you how you can mix it with Ideal Pink. But we're going to try a different blend today because you've seen that one on our video already. So let's try something else. So I think we're going to try Dusty Rose because that is my favourite. It's just such a pretty colour. And I find it suits majority of skin tones. But then that's what I love about sorry, I nearly said Lexi line. It's because I've just read that in the comments. That's what I love about the Jimmygels is there's a colour here for pretty much anyone. And if they don't like it, we can obviously mix our own. Is Dusty Pink a cover or a sheer? I suppose technically it's a cover. I find majority of them have it, they're not fully opaque, but then that's what I quite like about these Jimmy gels, is they're not, because they're not fully opaque, I know that I'm never going to have any issues with curing. I find you get enough coverage. I tend to use this a lot with Frenches. Okay, so I'm just going to pop a bit of Dusty Rose onto my palette. Yeah, they are, as Jojo's just said, they are good coverage. I've got, but there we go. So Dusty Rose, as you can see, has absolutely no shimmer in there. Well, let's mix it with, I'm going to go with Sparkling Rose. So again, Sparkling Rose by itself has a really nice shimmer. But let's say you have a client who wants a bit of shimmer, but that's too much. Like I said, the good thing about our Jimmy gels is we can mix them. So I'm obviously mixing this. You don't have to do that. You could layer them as well. I just personally mix them. And a good tip, if you've got any of the 10ml bottles that you've brought from Lexiline, once you've finished, if you give them a good clean out, if you have a colour that's really, really popular, you can make a big batch of it and pop them in one of the 10ml pots, which is what I tend to do. So again, comparing the colours, you can see one is definitely pinker, one is more of a nude. So I'm just going to take my spatula. So when I mix them, I imagine I'm spreading butter on a slice of toast to make sure that I'm fully mixing the colours together. So this isn't going to change the tone of the colour too much, but it's going to take away some of the sparkle. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to show you what I've just mixed. So I'm going to pop it into a little ball, and then I'm going to pop a little bit of Sparkling Rose next to it, just so you can see the difference. Again, maybe they want this slightly paler. We could add a little bit of natural to it to change the colour again so slightly. But this is Sparkling Rose by itself. I don't know how well the camera's picking that up, but from here, the subtle shimmer that's in my new mix, the glitter isn't as dense as it is in the actual swatch. So that's such a good idea. I'd have used a brush and got air bubbles. Yeah, been there, done that, Jess. That's why I've got my spatula out, because that's usually what I do, especially when I'm in a bit of a rush. So I'm going to use this on my model today. Might as well, as I've mixed it up, I might as well mix them back together. Tell you what, while we're here, let's just add a little bit of natural to it too, just so you can see how a bit of natural will change the shimmer. Again, you could even add a little bit of diamond dust or something to it. Maybe you want to add a little bit of that blue iridescent shimmer to it. The whole point is these are really versatile, and we can make our own colours, which is perfect. I don't know if you've got a client who's getting married, like I said, and maybe they're being a bit more particular on what they want on their nails. It's so versatile. So again, I'm going to imagine I am spreading some butter on my toast just to make sure all the colours are nice and mixed. If there's any swatches you want to see while I'm on live, feel free to add them in the comments, because I will I'll do them while I'm here. If not, and you make your own custom blends up, feel free to tag me and Ellie UK to see what you come up with, because it will help everyone out then, won't it? So let's use that. So I've literally just mixed a little bit of Dusty Rose, Sparkling Rosé, and I've just added a little bit of natural. I probably would have added white if I had some, but natural it is. I use a bit, the EPOD comes with and mix with... Oh, I've seen that. Yeah. I've seen people do that before. I've not done it myself, but I've seen people do that. I've seen when they've tried to make their own colours. And Jojo said about charging extra for custom blends for customers. It takes time. Yep, to be fair, this is the whole point, isn't it? This is a tailored service. This isn't just straight out the box. Again, you know, especially if you is someone, you could be here for quite a while trying to pick the perfect colour. Like I said, I try and have pots of my most popular mixes ready and waiting to go. But that's the whole point, isn't it? We can be nice and prescriptive to our service for our clients and give them the service that they want. Okay, I'm just going to pop that to the side. I'm going to move my swatches out the way. Like I said, give me a shout if you have any requests. If anyone wants to see any, I'm happy to. I've got some swatch discs out, so I can add some. Okay, I'm just moving my light around now, so I can't see the comments that well. All right, so I have got a pre-prepped client. It's like a blue Peter moment. I've already done her cuticles and I've given them a quick shape. So the first thing we're going to do before we start a service, whether that is an infill or a full set from scratch, is the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to come in with my Pro Cleanser on a Pro Cleansing wipe. And I'm going to give her nails a good clean. Reason for this is because my client has been out and about and there's lots of oils and debris and whatever else on her nails. And if I'm going to be pushing back her cuticles and whatnot, I don't want to be pushing that into her proximal nail fold, etc. So I like to give all the nails a really good clean before we do anything. Now I have already done her cuticles. I've done them really, really quickly. I haven't been as thorough as I would like to do. However, my client is pregnant at the minute, so she's a little bit more sensitive. So I didn't go as thorough as I would usually like to go. Can I please show diamond dust again? Of course I can. Yes, let me just get this started. And while she's setting this in the lamp, I will do it. On the video that I did in the reel, it was Ideal Pink and Diamond Dust. But feel free, if there's another colour you'd like me to mix that with, let me know and I will get that going for you, okay? Okay, so fully prepped. We're going to imagine, obviously, if we were doing a full service, I would have pushed back her cuticles and I would have removed the shine. But I'm going to go straight in with my application of my gel. So the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to apply some Air Bond to the nails. When it comes to your primers, you have two choices with Ellie. You have your Air Bond and you have Vita Prime. That obviously depends on the condition of the client's nails, how they are with their hands. I personally always start with Air Bond, and then once they've come back a few times, if they're having issues with how they're wearing, that's when I would probably think about switching it up to Vita Prime. Vita Prime is an acid-based primer, so it has to be used sparingly, but this also needs to be used sparingly as well, and we're just going to let that air dry. So you would do that to all 10 fingers, and then we're going to go in with our bonder. So again, for your bonder, Ellie, have two options. You have your tack and you have your power bond. They are both light curing bonders. I'm going to use tack today. Again, we're going to use a really small amount. Now, when I'm applying it, I like to apply a small amount to each finger first. And then we're going to scrub that in to the nail plate. Now, I don't know if you can see, there is hardly anything on my brush. We want to scrub this in. You almost want to see that. I don't want to use the word etching because that makes it sound like you have to remove a lot of nail when you're prepping the nail, but you want to be able to see kind of like the marks, the scratch marks on the surface of the nail on top of this. I don't know if you can see, look, I'm really scrubbing this in. You do not need to use a lot. It actually has the opposite effect. If you use too much, then your client could also have issues with lifting, product chipping, etc. So less is more. If you feel like your brush is completely dry, obviously you can come back in and get some more if you need to. But I'm hoping, let me just bring the camera, the nail closer. Can you see, you can still see the prep marks I did earlier underneath that nail. That's what we want to be able to see. So can I use Power Bond underneath as well? Yes, you can use Power Bond. That is another bonder. The only difference with Power Bond is it does not soak off. It's a hard gel bonder, so it doesn't soak. So if you were doing like a full removal, the Power Bond would more than likely stay in place. But yes, it's still a viable option. But I find I rarely use Power Bond. I've got it, but majority of my clients are absolutely fine using tack. I've never really needed to use Power Bond. We need shorter bristles on the primer brush. Do you mean on the tack, or do you mean on the air bond? Because on the tack, I actually find it's okay because I don't use a lot. I don't know if you can see, my brush is really dry, and I find I don't really have an issue. However, if you do have an issue, I know that Jess, I've seen it on her videos, Jess sometimes uses like an old brush to give that a really, really good scrub in. So I suppose there is other options, but I've never had an issue with the actual brush that it comes with. Okay, so can you put that in the lamp for me? So I'm just going to get my client to pop that in the lamp for, I'm going to do a full minute. Right, so diamond dust. What else did you want it to be mixed with? You haven't actually, I didn't see if you did mention it. While that's setting, I'm just going to quickly get it ready. Diamond dust. So diamond dust, as we can see, it is quite pale. It's really, really pretty. I quite like this in the winter, or quite Christmassy, with that like iridescent blue shimmer that it's got. But some people might like that blue iridescent shimmer, but not want it as pale as it is. So I like to mix it with Ideal Pink. Ideal Pink, here we go. Oh, just the colour, you want to see it there we go. So let me get you close up, you just wanted to see it by itself. It's really, really pretty. I brought the whole collection. And I did think when it first arrived there's going to be a few colours that I would never use. Like, I'm not really a pink person. So for example, Precious and Lady Pink, they're personally too pink for me. However, I use them a lot. I have them swatched, all swatched so my clients can see. So just because I don't like it doesn't mean someone else wouldn't like it. So it's worth having, because at least then I can offer, I've got a nice option, a nice vast option for my clients. But on the reel that I did a few months ago, these were the two that I mixed together, because I find that adding that little bit of Ideal Pink, it doesn't take away the shimmer, but just warms up the gel. My client today is my sister-in-law. She's going to have some right odd nails today, isn't she? So there we go, spreading it like butter. And so if I pop a little bit of the, where are we, diamond dust next to it, you can see by just adding that little bit of Ideal Pink, it's completely changed the tone. It's warmed it up. The glitter is still there. You can add as less as more as you want. That's what I like about it. We can custom make everything to what our clients want. Can you mix butter blings with each other? Yes you can. I mean, I know that's not quite what I'm doing today. I was slightly digressing. However, yes, I had someone have the butter blings. We used the, oh my gosh, you put me on the edge because I can't remember the names. But I mixed the silver and I mixed the gold. The my gosh, I can't get my words out. What colour was it? Rose gold. That's it. They look really nice together. So yes, butter bling, it's the same formula, isn't it? So yes, again, you can tailor your colours to whatever you want. Okay, so that should be done now. So we've now done our tack, that is now all set. I am going to apply a base layer. Now your base layer can be with the chosen colour of your JimmyGel, but for today I'm going to use clear. Now my reasoning for using clear is because the layer that's it's bonded to the natural nail, I personally like to use clear. Reason being is this is the layer that's bonded to the nail and is what's going to help with my adhesion, and obviously clear is the easiest thing to cure. We haven't got to really worry about light penetrating through any pigment, so I personally like to use clear. You do not have to. You can bottle of your chosen JimmyGel colour. Someone asked earlier about the opacity of the colours. They are opaque, but also when you apply them thin, they are about the curing process. But this is just, I suppose it's just, I feel like it's like my little safety net. And I do also love, I don't know if you can see the difference. Let me just apply this nail and I'll show you. The brush on the clear JimmyGel is different to the one that comes in the pink. Bear with me. Oh no, don't put that in yet. One on your clear, on the clear is really stubby compared to the coloured JimmyGels. And I prefer to use that's one of the reasons I like to use the clear as my base layer, because I can give it a really good scrub, making sure that it's in and bonded to the nail. I'm also quite, so I like to make sure that the whole nail is covered. 2 nails at a time. How many nails you do at a time is again a preference for yourself. If you're quite a quick worker, you might be able to do all 5 fingers nice and quick. I find it depends on how much I'm talking, how much the client is moving, and also the temperature of your room. Obviously on hot sun, but that's okay, because obviously what I'll do is I'll do one, pop her hand in the lamp, work on the other hand, and then get them swapped. They'll be constantly swapping, so I suppose that they'll just be flash curing, but I'll put them in for the full 60 seconds at the end. So I'm just going to get her to set those for me a second, because it's literally like 10 seconds. I'm just going to have a look through the questions while that is curing. To be honest, I've got into a habit of even curing for 2 minutes on anything builder like JimmyGel and Elegance. I mean, like I said, everything has a 60-second cure. Sometimes I suppose it might end up having a little bit longer if you're working on the other hand. I like to keep my clients' hands in the lamp when I'm working. The clients are the same. They will probably sometimes end up getting a little bit longer than 60 seconds. Because I'll say to them that if the light goes out, just move your hand in and out, turn on the automatic sensor again. If their hand is in the lamp, they can't touch anything. And with winter coming and everyone having big old fluffy jumpers, if their hand's in the lamp, the less likely I'm going to spend the next 5 minutes pulling fluff out of their nails. So yeah, so I suppose my nails also get an extra 2 minutes. So I'm just giving the base layer a nice scrub. I've already done 2 nails, I'm just doing these 2. I am using clear JimmyGel. I do sometimes also use QD base. Again, I suppose it depends on your client. It's gone are the days where it's all size fits all. You know, back when soft gels first came out in bottles, everyone was putting it on everyone's nails, and obviously it's not designed for everyone's nails. That's why we have other options. That's why Lexiline comes in so many different bases. Pop that in for me, because we need to make sure that we've got something for everyone. So I like to have as many different bases that I can, if they get out now, it's fine. So it can be fully prescriptive to each client. Not a thing. So giving this a nice scrub in, making sure I'm not touching the skin. If we do touch the skin, we need to make sure we remove it as quickly as possible. I like to use my Pro Stylus for that. But yeah, if you forget to remove any that are on the skin, that's when we can have issues with lifting, chipping, and obviously with the whole allergy thing that is going around at the minute, we do not want to be leaving any uncured gel on the client's skin. Okay, pop that in for me. So I'm going to give that. It says I'm live, and my screen isn't jumping. If anyone can let me know that they can hear me, that would be awesome. I'll pop this in there for a minute. Can everyone hear me? Right, okay. My Wi-Fi is looking all right to me. I'll keep an eye on it. Fingers crossed it won't happen again. I'm not entirely sure. I'm not. Oh, so you can hear what I'm saying. Okay, all right. So I don't have to repeat what I'm saying. Oh, it hasn't. Okay, that should be fine. I'm going to use the swatch that I mixed earlier. Obviously, we don't have. We have to use a brush for this, so I'm going to use my Ellie gel brush to do this. I am also going to use a little bit of a liner brush as well. I'm really sorry about the glitches. I'm not entirely sure why that is doing that. My sister-in-law is just going to have a quick look on her phone to see what's happening. He shouldn't have stolen my Wi-Fi extender. He knows not to. It would be in my bad books. Okay, so the only thing you've missed, if it is glitching, is I've applied a layer of my JimmyGel in clear. It's been scrubbed in. I've done all 5 nails. I'm now going to come in with my mix, which was, just for a reference, Dusty Rose with Sparkling Rosé. And I think there may even be a little bit of natural in there too. So I'm going to come in with my gel polish brush. You don't obviously have to use that. You could use your 4 oval too. However, I find I prefer this one just because of the size. I'm not going to use a lot. I'm hoping I'm in shot that you can all see. I'm going to paint a thin layer all over the nail. Working it with a weird angle. Yeah. So at this point, this is where the cuticle that I haven't quite reached with my brush. This is why a liner brush is handy. Just want to make sure the full nail is covered. So I have just applied what I'm going to call my slip layer, because I'm not going to set this when I come in. Can you zoom in a little bit? Yes, I can. Hopefully I'm in focus, because my light is right in the way, so I can't. And with my building layer, and I'm going to apply it not at the cuticle, but quite close. So I'm about to place that down, and then I'm going to brush it up to the free edge. I've focused most of my product in the centre of the nail. It is slightly off centre because I'm working at a bit of a weird angle. And then I'm going to come in with my liner brush. But I don't know if you can see, I've hardly touched this product and it's already self-leveling for me. I'm just kind of coaxing it down the sides, which is why I don't put so much product at the sides, because it self-levels so well. But I'm also now going to get her to turn her hand upside down. So this is going to be a little bit difficult for you to see on camera. I'm going to do it on a tip for you in a minute so you can see what I'm doing. But I'm basically going to allow gravity to help me create my apex. I'm hoping I'm in frame. I'll show you on a nail tip in a moment what I'm doing, but literally 10 to 15 seconds, have the client hand upside down. It's going to stop the product from going anywhere near the sidewalls. And then I'm going to check it before I to set that for me. Thank you. So I would do that on one nail, and then I would work on the other hand at the same time while that one was setting. I don't know if you saw, that was not thick at all. The product does not need to be thick. The thickness needs to be in the middle of the nail, cuticles on the sides, nice and thin. I will show you again. Let me kind of try and explain to you what I'm doing when the hand is upside down. So we're going to imagine where's my little liner brush? That this part here is my underneath of my nail. I'm looking for the product to see if there's any lumps and bumps. If there's any lumps and bumps, I come in with my liner brush. You don't have to use a liner brush. Some people do use a gel brush. This is preference, it's up to whatever you prefer. But I'm literally, if there's a bump in the middle of the nail, I'm literally just going to use the tip of my brush and feather the product into the dip until the nail has got a nice curve on it. Then I can turn it around. And then I like to use the line of light to make sure the product is nice and even. Wait, say that out for me. Hello, Angela. I love Angela. Right, I'm going to do the same on this now. Okay, so I'm going to come in with my slip layer. Nice and thin. Coating the whole nail from cuticle to tip. Trying to stay off the skin. And then come in with my liner. You can pick up a little bit more product on your liner brush if you need to. But what I'm doing is I'm just going to make sure that there is no nail showing. That doesn't make sense. But making sure that this product is covering the whole surface. So there's a little bit on the skin there. I don't know if you can see, just a little bit. So I'm going to come in with my stylus and just get that off. Once you're happy with your slip layer, before we cure that, we're going to come in again with our build layer. Back third of the nail, I'm going to apply and then run it up the centre. And like I said, JimmyGel is awesome for self-leveling. It will go with the curve of the nail. And I'm just going to use my liner brush to feather it out to the sides to make sure we've got some product on the sides. And then I'm going to get her to turn her hand upside down again. And I'm just checking to make sure we've got no dips. It's a little bit tricky for me to show you this with the lights I've got on, because I've got about 3 or 4 different lights. However, if you've got the IKEA lamp, which I think a lot of nail technicians do have, or you have a big round bulb, you can use the big round bulb to help you make sure your product is level. You can move the nail up and down and you'll have a line of light. That line of light needs to stay the same as you move the nail up and down. Put that in for me. If there's any bumps or divots, the line of light will show you. The liner brush works so well, nice and fine, better than the application brush, though I'm lazy grabbing it sometimes. Yeah, to be fair, I love my liner brush. Could you move up a bit? The comments are covering the nail. Yeah, no problems, we can do that on the next nail. I love my liner brush. I think I do a lot of nail art, so my liner brush is usually always to hand, which is why I like to use it. But like I said, it's not for everyone, which is why you can use your gel brush too. It's finding what works for you. I'm just flash curing these, but at the end we will make sure they've had a full 60 seconds before we go on and do anything else. I'm just making sure we're all good for time. All right, I'll move the nail. Hopefully that's a bit better. We can see a bit better. I'm tempted to use, I might use a different colour. just so you can kind of see. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to use Dusty Rose out of the bottle, because you've not seen me use the actual bottle application. I've used the Ombre brush application, and then we can compare the colours. Is 6 seconds good for a flash cure? If I'm honest, I don't time it. I tend to do one nail while that's in the lamp. I'll then do the next hand and swap them about. I know you can also use your LED dot. I'm not using the LED dot today. She is just popping her hand straight into the lamp. Making sure everything's shot. I'm hoping that's okay, Jojo. There you go. Jojo's put 5 to 10 seconds is enough. So I'm going to use the brush that comes with the bottle and do the same thing. We're going to just apply a small amount to create our slip layer. What's your most popular JimmyGel colour in your salon? I suppose Jojo might know. What's the most popular set? What's the most one that sells the most? I'm going to say Ideal Pink, but I'm hoping maybe there's another one. What's the most popular selling one in the UK? Or if you're not in the UK, well, no, I suppose I wouldn't know. I'm trying to figure out what would be the most popular overall. So there's the slip layer. I'm just going to come in again with a tiny little bit on my liner brush, making sure I'm nice and close to my cuticle without touching, making sure my sides are covered as well. Nice and thin. I'm then going to come in with my build layer. Is everyone good at getting the product out of the bottle? Does anyone struggle with air bubbles? Back third of the nail. And then I'm going to brush it up. And then I'm going to allow gravity to help me as we feather it out to the sides. I have got a little air bubble. Don't know if anyone can see that. I'll get that in a minute. Right, I'm going to get the client to turn her hand upside down. I'm going to make sure my arch is even. And I'm just going to pop that air bubble because it's going to annoy me. Pop the air bubble. I'm going to use my stylus. Here I am saying, does anyone struggle with air bubbles? And I just got one. Right, can you put that in the lamp for me? You struggle with air bubbles once the bottle gets halfway. To be fair, that makes sense. I suppose we're trying to scoop out the product, aren't we? But we don't want our brush to be loaded with product. We also don't really want to pump the product, because then if you're pumping it, that's when you're going to be pushing air into the bottle and you're going to get air bubbles. So when we are removing or getting the brush out, broken my nail, broken my glove. When we're getting product out of the bottle, I like to swipe one side, swipe the next side, and then I'm going to use the product that's in the neck of the bottle. So with one, that way then I haven't done any pumping. So a good little tip for you there. Boomers scare me. Any tips on what to use for them? So Boomers actually, which is why I've got no white in stock to show you. Boomer's been really popular in my salon this last couple of weeks. I don't know whether or not people are just a little bit too scared. I've got all the new colours, all the Dare to Indulge colours, but I don't know if my clients are all a little bit too scared to go dark just yet. So I feel like the French has been a safe zone for them. But I tend to, if I was going to be doing a Boomer, I could probably do it on the thumb, to be fair, but it'll be done out of natural. I would paint the white on halfway, set it, and then I'd come in with my chosen pink. I'll do it on the thumb for you if you like, as while we're here. I believe I've got some time. I've got about 5 minutes, so let me get this nail on quick. Don't be scared about it. I suppose the good thing about the French, the ombre, French ombre, is it's not supposed to be a harsh line, and also you're not going to get every single nail to match. And don't worry about trying to get every single nail to match, because it's not really gonna happen. But I personally prefer that. I prefer that look. So I am just teasing the product into the sides, and then I'm going to use Gravity. Gravity is my friend. And then I'm just going to get to set that. So on the first 2 nails, I've used my custom mix. And on the other 2 nails, I've used Dusty Rose straight out the bottle. So at least you can see, hopefully you can be able to see the difference in the colours, in the custom mixes. And I'm going to do, just as a quick request, I'm going to do the ombre. I'm going to do it out of natural, because I don't actually have any white with me today. And then I think what I'll do, I'm going to do it with Ideal Pink, just because what base requests, what would you like if I'm doing an ombre? I was going to do Ideal Pink, but while I'm here, I think mixing the boomer with clear blurs the white a bit better, in my opinion. The boomer on the tip does dark white look. Yep. That's there's another way you could do it. We could you could always make a bit of a sheer white to help with the blend. We're all here to help each other out. Right. So I'm going to come in now with a bit of my natural, and I'm just going to apply the natural on the tip. But I'm also going to it's not directly on the tip. I am going to blend it down a bit. But I want majority of it at the tip, because that's where we want the most colour. That's a little bit hard to see, obviously, because I am using natural. It would be a lot more obvious if I was using the boomer white. And then I'm just going to just pop that in the lamp for a couple of seconds. As you can see, I've gone nowhere near the cuticle with this product. I've just done it just on the tips. Right, put that in for me. Dusty Rose. All right, we'll use Dusty Rose. So I've just used a little bit of... actually, you know what? Maybe I'm going to use this. I'm going to use this because I need to use it up, don't I? No, I'm not. I'm going to use Dusty Rose. That was what was requested. So I'm not going to apply Dusty Rose to the whole nail, otherwise I'll end up covering some of the gel that I've already applied. Right, it's fine. Just a bit. Maybe that's what we'll do next time. Maybe that's what we could do. We will just do a whole live on the baby boomers. I'm just making sure I'm staying in shot and my comments aren't covering you too much. So I'm going to create my slip layer. I'm just going to take off any excess product. I still want to create a slip layer, but I don't want too much product to cover my natural. Come in with my liner brush. So just as a reminder, there is a discount code that you can use today and tomorrow to save on any products. So if you need to stock up on any essentials, or if you've seen anything that's been used on any of the lives today, you can obviously go ahead and purchase and you'll get 20% off. I believe Lenore is on after me. Am I right? Am I right in that? And then tomorrow you've got 2 more free education lives with Connie and Jojo. Jojo is going to be showing you something quite exciting. I think it's something that's quite long awaited from Ellie, so make sure you join her. And I believe Connie is doing some really cute little autumn designs. Autumn is my favourite season, so I'm definitely going to be watching that one. I actually think I'm working while she's doing her live, so my client's just going to have to sit down and listen with us. Maybe she'll request one while we're working on her nail. I've got an air bubble. Is that an air bubble or is that hair? I can't actually tell from here. Maybe it's hair. See, it happens to the best of us. And it's only going to get worse with the winter coming. Right, tip your thumb upside down for me. Thumbs are always awkward. No one ever knows what to do with thumbs. Sorry, is that comfortable?
Fine.
I'm just going to try and use my liner light as best as I can. It's really awkward with these lights. Right, pop that in the lamp for me. That's not the best boomer. I'm really sorry. It would have been a lot better if I'd used the boomer white. I prefer Builder for sculpted French. I'm sure I've missed something on that. Is it advised with Lexi rather? Can you sculpt out of French? Not paint on with JimmyGel. I think it's already been answered. Not personally, no. If I'm going to sculpt, I'll sculpt with Lexi line than with the JimmyGel. Personally, just because Lexi line's awesome. I love using JimmyGels for overlays. But if I'm going to be building extensions, I will use my Lexi line. So I'm running out of time, so I'm probably not going to be able to show you much more. So I'm just going to quickly show you her nails up close, so you can hopefully see some of the differences in the colours. This actually came out very nice. It's natural. Very nice. It's natural, very yellow in real life. No, believe it or not, the natural is actually, let me show you again on my swatches. I can't see very well because my light's in the way. Where is natural? There it is. It looks quite white, doesn't it? It literally looks like a natural tip. I don't know if you've ever seen natural fibre or seen any videos of that, but it's awesome. It's really, really natural. So again, I suppose, but again, you could always mix natural with a bit of boomer white to make the whites not so harsh. So going back on what you said earlier about mixing clearing to make the white a bit milkier, you could do that with the natural and the white. Again, that's what I love about it. I love how versatile the colours are. So obviously I've just applied the nail colours to her nails. So I've done, these two are a combo. These two are Dusty Rose with Sparkling Rosé, which this is a Dusty Rose by itself. So you can see the colour itself hasn't changed that much, but we have got that little bit of sparkle, which is not as sparkly as it would be if we would use Sparkling Rosé by itself. And then I've done a very, very, very subtle boomer on this nail. Do you cap your faded French? Personally, no, I've never really needed to. But what I want to suggest, I haven't actually filed these. I haven't got time to show you. I don't know if you saw that. I actually don't file until after my gel application, because we want the nails at the free edge to be a certain thickness. They need to be about 1 or 2 mil thick with the product at the end. And I always find that when I come to finish file, I get that perfect thickness. I will tweak the shape ever so slightly during prep, but I will do it towards the end. So I'm just going to come in with my Pro Wipe and my Pro Cleanser to take off the sticky layer. And I'm going to have to leave you there. But obviously right now I would then go on and either pop a top coat on. Top coat of choice, we could use the P+ top coat, or we could use Super Shiny, or we could go on with our colour, with our French, whatever it is that our clients are offering us. But obviously today it was more about me showing you how to colour blend with the JimmyGels and how I apply it. I hope you've enjoyed my live, and if you have any questions, feel free to message Ellie UK. They will answer any for you. I hope you've enjoyed it, and Lenore will be on after me to show you glitter gels. I believe she is showing today. I'm quite looking forward to watching that one. And then tomorrow, like I said, you've got Connie and you've got Jojo on doing some more bits and pieces. But I hope you've enjoyed watching me work, and I hope you have learned something. Any combos that you do, please show us, because like I said, it all helps us all out. We're all in it together. Cool. Thank you. I'm going to turn off now. Bye.